In this lesson, I want to talk about all the benefits you have with the cloud computing. So let's start with the example. Let's say you want to start a new company, something called Socially Global. And this company is about a professional social network. At the launch, you want to focus on the United States, but if this gets successful, your company actually intend to expand this globally. Now, from a startup point of view, you have this new company. Think about all the challenges you are going to face with the new company. Think about that. The very first thing you have is you need a very large upfront investment. Think about all the servers you need to set up. Think about all different softwares or different licensing, networking, security, cable. You need to maybe rent a building. You need maybe a security guard, cooling, electricity. Think about different teams you need to set up all this infrastructure. So it requires a very large investment. And not just that, first of all, you have to think about what kind of infrastructure you need. So you have to forecast that. You have to think about that, how many users you are going to have, how much usage you are going to have, and what kind of hardware actually can support that usage. So you have to forecast that. You have to think about all of these things. And even after that, once you think about all these hardware you need, you get all the approval, you get the money, still it requires at least 4 to 6 months to get all that hardware set up and configure and up and running. It takes a lot of time. Those who have worked in IT companies, they know that it's not a matter of few weeks or few months. It takes a long time to set up that infrastructure. Now suddenly after few months, it's a congratulations, your website Socially Global get very popular. Now you have a lot of user, but the problem here is because you have a lot of traffic, these users are experiencing latency. You need to scale these further, and to do that, again you need a few months of effort, because to scale again you need a more hardware. Again you have to forecast, again you have to order them, again you have to set up and configure and make all these settings, and again you have to make that up and running, and it takes a lot of time. And once you get popular, you get a lot of cyber attacks also. So you have to invest your time on security and compliance related stuff also. And what about less season? What about those months where the sales are not as high as generally we have in the festival seasons? There is no way you can scale down your hardware. Whatever hardware you have purchased, it has to be up and running. You cannot just put on hold of some of that hardware. Right? You cannot scale it down. You have to maintain it, and you have to bear all the cost to maintain all that hardware. And finally, even you have all this success and everything, let's say you want to expand globally. Let's say next time after United States, you plan to open another center in India. Now what about that? All of these challenges which we have just discussed so far, you have the same challenges again in India. Again you have to think about the hardware, forecast, and then again setup. Again you have all these security and everything. So you have to start from scratch once again. Now let's see that how actually cloud computing can help with all of these challenges. The very first thing here is that actually we are trading capital expense with a variable expense. That means we do not have any capital expense. There is no initial investment. We can directly start using all these servers and hardware and applications and softwares and everything without purchasing them, and we just pay for what we use. So it's a variable expense that it's very depend on the use we have. It's not the capital, it's not the initial investment we have. And then second problem we had was the forecast. Now here we don't have to forecast, right? We can provision all these hardware as little as possible, as depends on our capacity, and if required we can scale up or scale down of these hardware within just a matter of minute. That means we don't have to imagine that how much hardware we need. We don't have to forecast it. Next one is increase speed and agility. That means if my website becomes popular, I don't have any problem. Just within a few clicks, I can scale up my hardware, I can scale up my application, my infrastructure, and basically this reduce the resource deployment time from weeks to minute. Now here, I'm not talking about months, I'm talking about the minutes. Within few minutes, I can upgrade or I can scale up my hardware. And similarly, during off season, we can easily scale down our hardware. We don't have to pay the maintenance cost as we have to do in this traditional data center. Now, another advantage we have is benefit from massive economy of scale. That means here in this case, we are maintaining only our own data center, but actually AWS is maintaining a huge data center. They are actually supporting hundreds and thousands of customers, and that can actually lower down their pay per use price. Obviously, if we are using the bulk, it lowers the cost. Now we can stop spending money on running and maintaining data center. We don't have to think about maintenance. We don't have to think about upgrading hardware. We don't have to think about patches. We don't have to think about when to reset it, or electricity, or the power, any of these things. Everything will be taken care by the cloud provider. And go global in a minute. Let's say if we get successful and if we want to start our business, let's say in India, it won't take months. It will take just a few clicks, just a few minutes, and we are going to have exact same structure globally anywhere in the world. AWS has many centers. These cloud providers have their reach on many regions in the world, and within just a few clicks and few minutes, I can have exact same infrastructure at different place also. So you can see that how these cloud provider has such an advantage over our traditional data center, and all of these challenges which we were looked at in traditional data center can be easily sort out with the cloud computing. So I hope now you have a very good understanding about advantages and benefits of cloud computing, and I'm hoping that you're actually convinced that cloud computing is such a wonderful thing in today's world. Earlier, sometimes even people used to have ideas about the startup, but they used to fear about all this upfront cost and if they will be able to succeed or not. But in nowadays, actually within just a few minutes and few clicks, they can create an infrastructure. They can try different things. If that works, that fine. Otherwise, they can just terminate all of that infrastructure, and they can try different ideas. They can try different things, and that is why you can see that in today's world we have so many different startups, because people are trying different things using this power of cloud computing. So I hope you find it helpful. Thank you so much.